want to go to college, and I realized I was pretty good at this game. But after scouting grounds, I actually went to school for the next 6 months, finished my high school, and then immediately, like literally the day after I finished high school, I flew out to Cloud9, and then I played academy with them, and then after about like a month or something or so, a month and a half, they decided to try me out for LCS.
This is Zento from Esports Heaven, and I have here with me Cloud9's new jungler, Blaber, and you just beat TSM on Kindred. And now Kindred is this jungler that just got introduced into the kind of jungle champion pool or jungle meta. So what do you find interesting about this champion, like, and how it functions within a team setting or LCS setting?
Kindred as a champion is really broken right now. She's been broken for like 2 patches maybe, and she wasn't touched this patch. I think she's getting nerfed on 8.15, but she's a lot easier to play in solo queue for sure because she relies on marks a lot to like a lot of her damage from her marks, and in competitive play usually you don't get free marks from killing people. They can test you on your marks a lot more than whereas in solo queue you can just get free marks. But it's definitely still a good champion, and it just has a different playstyle than like tanks or engagers.
Yeah, well, isn't it difficult to change from, say, practicing a champion like this in solo queue? Because like you said, it is really reliant on marks and everything. So in solo queue, it's way easier to get marks versus in LCS. It's like the entire enemy team is coordinating against you for you to not get those marks. So is it difficult transitioning from your thought process of how the champion functions within solo queue and then competitive?
Not really, because Kindred is super strong early game too. So she can contest almost any jungler in the river for crabs, and she has really strong ganks. So in that aspect as a jungler, it's pretty much the same from solo queue to competitive. I mean, obviously in competitive, the laners don't just die to like every gank, and they play safe around it, but generally it feels similar. It's just when it comes to mid-late game, you don't have as much damage, I guess, because you don't have as many marks. But the playstyle is definitely similar, and it's really unique. I think Kindred's pretty unique too, because the way I play her, I like to jump in a lot, and then her ult is like a saving kind
of like you were
kind of weird, but
you were pretty aggressive.
I was using it to save myself, really, not really my teammates that game, but
okay. So talking about just one specific champion, kind of a hot topic right now is one-trick ponies, and you came from the scouting grounds, and they have this rule against one-trick ponies. But what's difficult that some people have brought up is that, say, a new patch that comes out as such that we had to where it changes the entire game basically, right? So there was the funneling strat, and then there was Aatrox just destroying top lane. And so as a pro or an aspiring pro, I guess you have to play these new champions of what's meta in order to learn that. So do you think it's hard for these scouting grounds players to broaden their champion pool but at the same time not be a one-trick pony?
I think that if you're a one-trick pony, you shouldn't be aiming for scouting grounds, because the way I see it, or the way most players climb, is when I initially climbed, and a lot of players I know climbed, they one-tricked a champion that they got super good at, helped them reach the challenger. But once you get to that level, you need to expand your champion pool. And a lot of players, they get to like the challenger level, and they just decide that they only want to play their champion in order to climb like higher in the rankings, rather than expand their champion pool, even though their intentions are going pro, which is like kind of counterintuitive, doesn't make any sense. And like they think it's pretty easy to pick up new champs, I guess, when you're one trick. I mean, I can agree, like if you're one trick at a champ and you're mechanically really strong, you can pick up other champs, but it takes time for sure.
Okay. Speaking of which, so you came from scouting grounds, and it's been like somewhat recently that you've been onto the LCS stage. So what made you decide to go pro, to like just fully invest in it?
I didn't want to go to college, and I realized I was pretty good at this game. But after scouting grounds, I actually went to school for the next 6 months, finished my high school, and then immediately, like literally the day after I finished high school, I flew out to Cloud9, and then I played Academy with them, and then after about like a month or something, or so, a month and a half, they decided to try me out for LCS.
Wow,
So
that's
I've been playing competitive for maybe a month and a half now.
okay.
Like 2 months.
That's pretty insane. So what's, I guess, the difference of what you've experienced recently? Like, has it met all your expectations of, being on the LCS stage and being a professional now?
Yeah, definitely met my expectations. The hype is real. I have a lot of fun playing on the LCS stage for sure. But what I didn't expect, I guess I would say, is the amount of like stress and the amount of work I actually have to put in to perform LCS. Because in my opinion, since I played Academy and LCS, when I play Academy, it feels way more chill. I'm much more relaxed, and then when I play LCS, it's like stressful. I get nervous on game days. Like Academy game days, I'm just like, whatever,
Yeah.
Just like.
So okay, since you've been playing and you've been trying to get pro, there's got to be like a professional player that you've looked up to throughout the entire time. So like, what is, or who is the pro player which you've kind of admired as you've been climbing up and becoming a professional?
I don't know if there's like one specific pro I've been admiring, but at different points of my career, it's been like, I'd say 4 different junglers. When I first started playing, Dardoch was the jungler I looked up to, and I still really look up to him now. And then it became like Svenskeren in season 6. He was like a jungler I thought was really good. I looked up to him a lot. Even at Scouting Grounds, I think that's who I said I looked up to. And then more recently, it's been Greg and Wiggly, the 2 junglers that I respect a lot, and I'm pretty close friends with those 2 compared to the others. And I ask them for tips a lot, and we're pretty good friends, I'd say.
That's cool. That's always good to have people that you kind of bounce ideas off of. I think that's really important. Okay, well, that's all I really have for you. This has been Azento from Esports Heaven and Blaber from Cloud9. Thank you. I assume if you made it this far, you probably enjoyed the content. So if you did, subscribe, and also check out my other content that's more analytical and opinionated. But otherwise, keep it locked at esportsheaven.com, and I'll see you next time. Peace.